Hare Kendra Prabhu.
Jai Panchatattva Prabhu, Jai Maharaj, Hare Krishna,
Jai Kendra.
Jai Jai Jai. Last time when we ended, you had changed your settings to maybe block out some background noise, but it seemed to block
No,
out
I
too
didn't.
much of your voice.
I didn't change my settings at all.
Okay. All right. Now we're hearing you fine.
Okay.
Should I go ahead and start Caitanya-caritamrta? Would you?
That seems to be a good idea.
Okay. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devam Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Privrajagacharya Stotra Sapta Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Privrajagacharya Astotra Sapta Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Brind Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Brind Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyamakund Radhakund Gir Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Tulasi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Brinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gora Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Panchatattva Prabhu. And thank you everyone for being here for Srimad Bhagavatam class with His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami. It is Monday, January 1st, 2024 in New York, and we are reading tonight in the third canto, chapter 27. According to Maharaj's notes, we are starting tonight with text number 7. I will start if that's all right. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Just a moment, I have to post the verse so we can keep our place in the chat notes. Sarvabhuta samatvena nirvairinda prasangata brahmacharyena maunena svadharmena baliyasa. In executing devotional service, one has to see every living entity equally without enmity towards anyone, yet without intimate connections with anyone. One has to observe celibacy, be grave, and execute his eternal activities, offering the results to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prabhupada's purport. The devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who seriously engages in devotional service, is equal to all living entities. There are various species of living entities, but a devotee does not see the outward covering. He sees the inner soul inhabiting the body. Because each and every soul is part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he does not see any difference. That is the vision of a learned devotee. As explained in Bhagavad Gita, a devotee or a learned sage does not see any difference between a learned brahmana, a dog, an elephant, or a cow, because he knows that the body is the outer covering only, and that the soul is actually part and parcel of the Supreme Lord.
Kendra, can I interrupt just for a moment?
Please, Maharaj.
Prabhu, I realize that I've given you the wrong spot.
Oh, did we not cover? I thought maybe.
Yeah, we're actually on 4.
That's what I was thinking, but yeah, good. Very good. We'll get back there. Text number 4. Arte hyavidyamanepi sangsritir na nivartate dhyayato vishayan asya svapnenartagamo yata. Actually, a living entity is transcendental to material existence. But because of his mentality of lording it over material nature, his material existential condition does not cease. And just as in a dream, he is affected by all sorts of disadvantages. Report. The example of a dream is very appropriate. Due to different mental conditions, in dreams we are put into advantageous and disadvantageous positions. Similarly, the spirit soul has nothing to do with this material nature, but because of his mentality of lording it over, he is put into the position of conditional existence. Conditional existence is described here as dhyayato vishayan asya. Vishaya means an object of enjoyment. As long as one continues to think that he can enjoy material advantages, he is in conditioned life. But as soon as he comes to his senses, he develops the knowledge that he is not the enjoyer. For the only enjoyer is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 5.29, he is the beneficiary for all the results of sacrifices and penances, bhoktarang yajna tapasam, and he is the proprietor of all the 3 worlds, sarvaloka maheshwaram. He is the actual friend of all living entities. But instead of leaving proprietorship, enjoyment, and the actual position as the friend of all living entities to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we claim that we are the proprietors, the enjoyers, and the friends. We perform philanthropic work, thinking that we are the friends of human society. Someone may proclaim himself to be a very good national worker, the best friend of the people and of the country. But actually, he cannot be the greatest friend of everyone. The only friend is Krishna. One should try to raise the consciousness of the conditioned soul to the platform of understanding that Krishna is his actual friend. If one makes friendship with Krishna, one will never be cheated, and he will get all help needed. Arousing this consciousness of the conditioned soul is the greatest service, not posing oneself as a great friend of another living entity. The power of friendship is limited. Although one claims to be a friend, he cannot be a friend unlimitedly. There are an unlimited number of living entities, and our resources are limited. Therefore, we cannot be of any real benefit to the people in general. The best service to the people in general is to awaken them to Krishna consciousness, so that they may know that the supreme enjoyer, the supreme proprietor, and the supreme friend is Krishna. Then this illusory dream of lording it over material nature will vanish. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam. Bandehang Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavams Cha. Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Stam Sajivam. Sadvaitam Sadvadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam. Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitams Cha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchaka Patarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I had a question actually to start things with. The phrase Prabhupada uses here, as he uses so many other places, of the mentality of lording it over. Like here he says, because of this mentality of lording it over, he is put into the position of conditional existence. And this, from one point of view, maybe seemed to be a very, very basic point, but it gets brought up a lot, and this seems to be the crux of our problem in the material world, that we have this mentality of lording it over. We're not the lords, but we have this mentality. And once that mentality is removed or purified, done away with, then we're able to actually be who we are and serve Krishna with the proper mentality. So I hope I can state my question clearly. The mentality of lording it over, Krishna is the Lord. He is the enjoyer. That's his constitutional position. Our constitutional position is to serve. So then can we say that mentality of lording it over that we have falsely, that it's described here in the other verse as a dream, it's an illusion. It's what's the word? It's a hallucination. So many terms can be applied to it, but it comes from Krishna. He allows us to have this mentality and to think of ourselves or the possibility of becoming the enjoyer. But Krishna gives us that. Is that correct to say that he gives us that mentality?
Well, we adopt it. It's not that he instills it into us as a given, but we want to enjoy this material world. What is that? Isharoham ham bhogi. We want to enjoy and we want to control. So Krishna says, all right, go ahead, enjoy, control. But it's not constitutional.
Do you mean to say that my desire to enjoy material nature is not Krishna's Leela?
Sorry.
So, in other words, then, I just want to make sure that that I understand this clearly, because I can see that my own problems stem from this mistaken mentality of wanting or imagining that I can become the enjoyer. So that fault is it's just a bad idea. And if I pursue it, if I latch onto it and cherish it, then Krishna, because he's controlling all of material nature, he can allow me to go on in that way falsely for as long as it takes for me to come to the point where I can see this is just not working, and then to take a different strategy in my life. But it's not like you say that he instills that mentality. It's just, who knows where it comes from. It's just a bad idea, like in a dream, like we're conditioned. We're in a wrong state of mind. We're dreaming. Everything is jumbled up and false and temporary and mixed up. So we have to come to the point. Like I had just a personal anecdote. I had a dream a couple of nights ago in which I was actually preparing to give something like a class on the Bhagavatam. And I found that in the dream, I went from being asleep and dreaming. And that once I started thinking of what I was going to say in the Bhagavatam class, I realized I was lucidly dreaming. I was actually awake. And then I woke up thinking of what I was going to be saying in this situation. So I'm from what you're saying, from what I'm gathering from the text, it seems that once we determine that we want to be awake, that's when that lording it over mentality begins to abate. And as soon as we think again, oh, there's another object of the senses, maybe I can enjoy that, then we're right back in the dream.
Prabhupada gives us matasmritir jnanam apohanam. Krishna helps us remember, Krishna helps us forget. And elsewhere we read, from pure consciousness, contaminated consciousness arises. So, as you say, this dream clicks in. I can control, I can enjoy. Can you get some of that cough off for me? I can control, I can enjoy. And we're in the soup, as they say.
In the chat, Saraswati Mata says, conditional souls try to steal Krishna's ID as enjoyer. That's identity theft. Murai Gupta Prabhu says, Mother Yashoda lords it over Krishna in one sense. So it seems there is scope to do it in a spiritual capacity.
Oh, yes. Nice.
Another point comes to my mind from this purport. In the second chapter, Prabhupada says, Vishaya means an object of enjoyment. And in so many places, Prabhupada will say that the great stumbling block in the material world is woman for a man. But then in other places, he'll say, for the woman, man is the woman. But really, it's this, the Vishaya, the object of enjoyment. Whatever you see, whoever you are, if you see something as Vishaya, that's the woman for you.
Jayato Vishayam Pumsa. Sangaste Shupajayate. We think about enjoying, and then we get stuck in this mentality. Then we think I'm the enjoyer, I'm the controller.
And it's so vastly different for us than it is for Krishna, who's the actual enjoyer, the actual source of everything. He doesn't run the risk of going down the trail of forgetting himself and getting caught up in enjoyment. That's who he is. He's always enjoying. Panchatattva Prabhu has a hand up.
I was looking at this purport, reading the purport, and thinking about fallible soldiers, and all of the relationships we build up in the material world that we falsely conclude will help protect us in some way, or uplift us, or extend our period of enjoyment, and so forth. So we all act as fallible soldiers here, and I was also thinking about it in terms of we're trying to imitate Krishna at every step. Bhoktarang Jagatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suradam Sarvadeva. Everybody's my friend, especially my immediate family members. I have all of this intricate network of relationships. And when you think about it, it really is a bizarre attempt to imitate Krishna. Krishna has all these different relationships, all perfect in eternity. And we're, scrambling around here in one lifetime after another, accumulating a network of, this animal friend and that animal friend, or this human being friend and this human being friend, whichever species we're in. We're doing the same thing, but we're doing it in a very poor imitation. And the poorest aspect of it is it's completely temporary and it's ineffective.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Jai Jai. Saraswati Mataji.
Pranams to all. I'm just focusing on this line. The only friend is Krishna. If one makes friendship with Krishna, one will never be cheated and he will get all the help needed. And when we think about that, people, even if they're donating something anonymously, or in their heart they're thinking they're making a difference, but at the end of the day, they're still on this platform of becoming an enjoyer. I made the difference. Me, mine, and I. So they haven't gotten away from that. And plus, we find sometimes that these donors, there is a string attached. It's not this unconditional, friendship that I'm exhibiting. They're, either they're getting tax credits, big corporations, or whatever it could be. There's the slightest provocation, and that friendship's finished. It's very fragile and very temporary. And even if it's not any of those things, just as it said here, there are an unlimited number of living entities. And so, what real benefit can you be to reach? It's not like you can reach out to an infinite number of souls. Krishna's connected to everyone, so he has the resources, and he can make the real difference. And today I can't find the exact script where I read this article, this disgruntled devotee put out. He was a teacher, and I'm just trying to paraphrase what he said. Basically, he was accusing Krishna of being unforgiving, heartless, and because he was comparing it to himself as a teacher. He's saying if he meets undisciplined, unruly, defiant students who don't know any better, but he would never punish them so severely as to banish them and put them in some kind of an exile in a material prison house to suffer endlessly. He knew how to bring about order from chaos. I don't know, he didn't really come up with any permanent solutions, but he felt like he knew what not to do. So here again, we've got a devotee who's now thinking he's better than Krishna, knows more than Krishna. So in one way or another, Maya really gets us into thinking that somehow or another we can be the hero. And it's really pathetic. And I just wanted to share something in terms of where it says in, Krishna, one will never be cheated and he will get all the help needed. And we can probably attest to, a lot of devotees can attest to how help has come, whether it's come from the person Bhagavatam, Shastra Bhagavatam, or devotees that have helped us whenever we've had trouble. And I know that in my case, there's a milestone that I never forget, was when I felt like I was at the end of my rope. I felt so ashamed. I was trapped in this marriage that was full of violence, and I felt I couldn't go to anybody because I just felt so much guilt and shame. And it just got to a point where, as that one time in my life, I actually approached Krishna directly. Usually my mother had us approaching Krishna, as I say, through Guru or Shastra. Usually my mother would say, always go to Mother Yamuna. No matter how bad you think you've done, no matter how fallen you think you are, she will, like a mother, she will take you in, she will help you. But this was the one time in my life I approached Krishna directly, and I begged him to help me to do whatever he wanted. I've given up on trying to come up with ideas of how I can get out of this situation. And how long did it take for Krishna to help me? Decades, months, years? No, it was immediate help. I can always come back to that immediately. The tears hadn't even dried on my face, and I felt he had helped me immediately. I felt comforted. I felt like I could have the strength to get up. And as they say, the attacking bull, I could take the bull by the horns. He gave me just the strength that I could do it. I could get out of it. I could chant more, better, and I could just get out of this and not keep and cast aside these feelings of shame and guilt that Maya had pressed and pushed on me. He helped me to get out of that. So it's like immediate help. That's a milestone in my life. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mata, for sharing that. There's a question here from Devi's child for Maharaj. Hare Krishna Maharaj. But by serving Krishna, by having a relationship with him, aren't we, in a way, enjoying being with him? Aren't we enjoying his presence and his love?
Yes. That's constitutional enjoyment. The constitutional enjoyment means, constitutional enjoyment means we enjoy serving. We enjoy serving. But we may enjoy or not enjoy, but we'll serve. We get enjoyment by serving the supreme enjoyment. Prabhupada gave the example. I don't know how the example flies these days because everybody's rethinking all these things. But Prabhupada said just like a wife gives enjoyment to the husband. When the husband enjoys, then the wife enjoys also. This is, if the man is Purusha, he's the enjoyer, and the woman is Prakriti. So when we give enjoyment to Krishna, we also enjoy. But our giving enjoyment to Krishna is not contingent. If you give me enjoyment, then I'll give you enjoyment. The yata tata va, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You may embrace me or you may kick me, but I'll serve. That's the mentality. But Krishna, he gives enjoyment to the devotee also. The pleasure potency of Krishna really gives pleasure to Krishna and gives pleasure to Krishna's devotees. Yes. Is that all right? Okay. Murari has a question.
Murari Gupta Prabhu says, in Krishna book, it's written that Krishna wasn't attracted to any of his 16,000 wives. So how would Krishna enjoy them if he wasn't attracted to them?
Well, I guess this is one of those instances that requires some interpretation, like a residential quarter on the Ganges. He wasn't attracted materially. And ultimately what attracts Krishna is devotional service. That's what he was attracted to, not beautiful women. he could create 16,000 more beautiful women just like that. But their service, that's the attractive feature. Is that okay?
Thank you, Maharaj. Yes, that was my thought, but I just like to have these things confirmed. Hare Krishna.
I found it notable also in the purport to see how Prabhupada really skewers this idea that we can be the friends of others. Prabhupada always presented that Krishna is the friend, not that I'm your friend. The politicians, friends of the people, it's all bunk. And even the sincere philanthropists were thinking that I should be a friend to these people. I should extend my kindly hand. They're materially, they'd be considered very good, very admirable, praiseworthy. Prabhupada just looks at them and says, "You're nonsense." As Saraswati pointed out, Prabhupada says, first of all, you have limited resources, so what kind of friend can you be? And the other thing is, you're not really the person who's set up to be the friend of other living beings. That's Krishna. And you want to occupy Krishna's position. Either you want to be the enjoyer, you want to be the controller, or you want to be the friend. And you're not any one of the three. You're not able to enjoy, you're not able to control, and you're not really able to be the friend. So surrender, relinquish that position to Krishna. And I always relish seeing how Prabhupada, gives no credit to anything, including philanthropy. We were discussing the other day that religion is valued for its pragmatic contribution to helping humanity. And Prabhupada looks at it and says, no, that's not what we do. We don't solve people's problems. What resources do we have? And we point them to Krishna because Krishna is their true friend and they can solve every problem.
Srila Vishwanath, in his purport to this verse, says that the jiva, even though he actually performs no action, since the jiva is not the doer, nor has the means of doing anything, so it's just as you say that I like Prabhupada's turn of phrase in the purport here, where there are an unlimited number of living entities. Our resources are limited. So if you have limited resources, there's only so much you can do. You only have so much time, energy, intelligence, and resources. And so what really is required is expert guidance, that you use your time and resources in this way. Don't waste it over here.
It's also hitting on that point again, which is sort of the core point of the verse, that we're just imagining that we're materially, that we're materially capable and that we're experiencing what's going on here. The arte hi avidyamane api sangsruti. It's actually not real. Birth and death are not real. Enjoyment and suffering are not real. None of this is real. Asango Hiyam Purusha. We have nothing to do with material nature. But the Jayadvaita, thinking that we can enjoy sense gratification, we're dreaming. We become implicated in this dream. And then so many troubles are there. And in Arto Pasamam Sakshat Bhakti Yogam, one gets freed from all these things by devotional service.
I'm reminded of the Krishna's conversation with Arjuna. Arjuna thought that the solution was for him to not fight. If I just don't fight, then I'll be okay. That was the solution. And Krishna said, no, if you don't fight, not only will X, Y, and Z happen, but A, B, and C will happen, and it won't be the actual solution that he was trying to, in that state, similarly put himself in the position of being the friend, I'll spare all these people, and thus no, you won't get a good name from that. Your reputation will go to hell, and they're already dead. So just do it. Panchatattva Prabhu, could you read the segment that you oh, there's two things in there. One from Praveen Krishna Prabhu, and would you be able to read those, Panchatattva Prabhu?
Sure. What do we have from Praveen? Praveen Krishna Prabhu writes, Udama Bhava Vishunamala Volguha Sa Vridavaloka Nihito Madano Piyasam Samuya Chapam Ajahat Ramadottamasta Yasyendriyam Vimatitum Kuhakair Nasekohu. Although the queen's beautiful smiles and furtive glances were all spotless and exciting, and although they could conquer Cupid himself by making him give up his bow in frustration, and although even the tolerant Shiva could fall victim to them, still, despite all their magical feats and attractions, they could not agitate the senses of the Lord. There's no reference given to where it appears. Probably maybe 10th canto, I don't know. And I'm quoting from Krishna book, chapter 90. Krishna's behavior with his wives, his movements, his talking with them, his smiling, his embracing, and similar other activities, which are just like those of a loving husband, kept them always very much attached to him. That is the highest perfection of life. If someone remains always attached to Krishna, it is to be understood that he is liberated and his life is successful. With any devotee who loves Krishna with his heart and soul, Krishna reciprocates in such a way that the devotee cannot but remain attached to him. The reciprocal dealings of Krishna and his devotees are so attractive that a devotee cannot think of any subject matter other than Krishna. That's that was in, let's see if I can pull that up. It's mentioned right after. Prabhupada writes, in this way, Lord Krishna used to enjoy the company of his 16,000 wives. Some devotees of the Lord who want to love the Supreme Personality of God in the mellow of conjugal love are elevated to the position of becoming wives of Krishna, and Krishna keeps them always attached to him by his kind behavior.
So there's another question here from Davy's child. if we are not the doer, how come we get to enjoy and suffer both good and bad results of karma?
Because we dream that we're the doers. We're not the doers, but we dream that we're the doers. And that's how we become entangled. That's the indication of this verse. In a dream, we imagine something. We imagine that we're a soldier. We imagine that we're a this or a that. And then a passenger in a train or a plane. And then whatever happens, now it's happening to me. Because we're identifying ourselves as that soldier, as that passenger, as whatever it is. It has no real existence. The happiness and distress have no real existence. But because I imagine, ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. The same thing was expressed in different language in the previous verse. Everything's actually done by nature, by material nature, but I imagine that I'm doing it. And therefore, I become subject to the reactions of material nature, good or bad. Good or bad. So one has to get free from false ego. But then he gets free from suffering. But then we are also dreaming. Are we also dreaming that we're having a relationship with Krishna? Are we really not in a relationship? No, that's when you wake up. That's not a dream. The dream is that I have a relationship with my family members, with my nation, with my this, with my that. That's the dream. But in my awakened condition, no, my relationship is with Krishna, my relationships with the spiritual world, not with this. Or my relationship is with the devotees. Krishna means Krishna with his devotees, with Vrindavan, with all his paraphernalia. So that's where my relationship is, not with this material world and its paraphernalia and inhabitants. One of the acharyas makes the point that the dreams are evidence of reality. You couldn't have these things that we have in dreams unless there was something that the dreams are reflected from. So whatever's there in the dream has its origin in the reality. But we're missing the reality because we're absorbed in the dream. Where are we dreaming from? From Goloka or as part of Krishna? We're dreaming from impure consciousness. Our original consciousness is Krishna consciousness, but Krishna Bahir Mukjiv Bhogavanchakari. We turn away from Krishna, and then we dream this, that, the other thing. So the dream, where am I dreaming? If I'm in my bed and I'm dreaming about whatever, where am I dreaming? The place is not really the bed, the place is my consciousness. It's in my consciousness that the dream, the bed really has nothing to do with it. It's my consciousness. So my consciousness is material consciousness, and that material consciousness generates the dream, irrespective of the place. I may be in jail or in heaven, but I'm imagining something in my dream. So the consciousness is the locus, the place of our dreams. When consciousness is pure, then the material dreams dissolve, and the reality becomes or the reality floods my consciousness, or one becomes Krishna conscious. And when one turns away from Krishna, then Maya floods my consciousness. The dream occupies my consciousness. Well, this is the question again. How did we manage to dream about inferior material world when we're in superior Krishna consciousness? What attracted us to the material energy in the first place? Yeah, this is sort of the endless question, which will always be beyond the scope of our minds to figure out. But since I gave that clue before that Prabhupada said from pure consciousness, material consciousness comes about. Prabhupada attributes it to misuse of tiny independence. How is it possible? But it's possible. Prabhupada gives the example that someone's executing Krishna consciousness and then he goes away. The society of devotees and so on. What is there? There's only illusion, but somehow or other he becomes attracted to that illusion and leaves the association of devotees.
Mother Saraswati writes, we get recurring dreams too. Mine is that I bow down to Krishna and instantly I'm tumbling down a never-ending hill.
Sounds like fun. You're muted, Kendra Prabhu.
I'm sorry. I was saying if it's okay, we can move on unless there's more discussion on this verse. And if there's no more discussion, I was going to ask Ross Prabhu to read text number 5. But there's more questions.
Was material energy always here? If everybody got back to Krishna consciousness, what will happen to the material energy is it may no longer have a purpose. Prabhupada gave the example that what if everyone became honest? There'd be no need of the prison. But you don't really have to worry about that. It's like, what if everyone became celibate? It's just not going to happen. There's always some obstinate fool who doesn't want to serve Krishna.
Murari Prabhu says, it's an interesting point that we can't imagine or dream of something that has no connection with reality. So we're at 753. Text number 5, it actually has quite a purport to it. 3 big paragraphs. So
Sounds like a good excuse for kirtan.
yeah, that's what I was thinking too, Maharaj. Panchatattva Prabhu, would you like to nominate our closing kirtan leader since you led?
I would be happy to, more than happy to. Extremely happy to. But who? See, who has led before? We've had Dana lead before, we had Priyanka lead before. Praveen, he's always in the quiet mode, so I'm not going to ask. Krishna Konteya Prabhu, would you be so kind to lead the kirtan? You'll have to amp up your microphone though.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now we can hear you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gurdas Maharaj ki jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Ram Sa Bhairaj Jagacharya Stota Taras Sri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Ram Sa Bhairaj Jagacharya Stota Sata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Shilharidas Gaur ki jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Giridovardhan ki jai. Sri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Sri Mathura Dham ki jai. Sri Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai. Ganga Mai ki, Yamuna Mai ki jai, Tulsi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Samveda Bhakti Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. Jai Sri Guru Engaranga Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Das Maharaj ki jai.
Jai. Thank you so much, Krishna Kante Prabhu. And thank you, everyone, for being here, especially Maharaj. Thanks for joining us.
Chickens.
Hare Krishna, Panchatattva Prabhu, and family, happy trails.
Haribol, Happy New Year.
Have that too.
Happy solar calendar New Year.
Right.
We're Vaishnavas are so special. We get 2 New Years every year.
All right. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Jayadvaita Maharaj ki jai.
Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutta Gurudahas Jayadvaita Swami.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Jai Jai. Hope to see most of you, or if not all of you, Wednesday. Good to see you, Madhupati Prabhu.
Jai.
Krishna Maharaj.
That's a sound.